So have you ever dreamt of being somebody else? Fantasized about changing places with one of those guys that seems to have everything? I know, I sure did. In fact, the guy I wanted to switch places with was my next door neighbor and a guy I considered to be one of my better friends. His name was Cody. We were about the same age, we were in the same grade, and man, it seemed like this guy had everything. First up, he was an athletic stud. He didn't even seem to have to work at it. He was also incredibly smart, never really tried in school, and the ladies loved him. Throughout my teenage years, I wanted to be this other guy. I wanted to trade places. But here's the deal. As most of you guys know, life doesn't work that way. And to be honest, I'm glad my prayers weren't answered and we never switched places. Because sadly, my friend, he peaked in high school. He ended up wasting a free ride to college, ended up coming back home and working in the oil and gas industry. And tragically, he died doing this. He was picking up trash there on the side. Apparently something was touching a live wire. He didn't know that. And he ended up being electrocuted. First up, none of us know how much time we have left. Be grateful for this day you've got, for the life that you've received, and know that you've got the power, at least today, to take steps to taking your life in the direction you want. The second point I want to hit is to remind you about your ability to create change in your life. So it's been said that we overestimate what we can do in a day, but we severely underestimate what we can do in a period of years. I know for me that was the case. I view myself as a late bloomer, someone who didn't really peak at 18, instead started peaking in my late 20s. I ended up building my social skills in college and then built my professional years as a young officer in Marines. And the truth that I learned over that 10-year period is that if you don't like who you are, you actually have the power to change this. And the path to this change has been walked millions, if not billions of times before. Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. In fact, if you look to history, we can see the path. We can see guides who will lead us along the way. Know thyself. The superior man examines himself. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. So the first step in creating a new you is to understand exactly who you are. And as you can tell by the quote, this wisdom has been around for thousands of years. And I don't know about you, but I find it reassuring that my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather probably dealt with some of the same issues as me. That get the ladies. I want to be like that. But seriously, gents, when was the last time you reflected on your life for an hour? For 30 minutes? For 15 minutes? For just freaking 5 minutes? Come on. Most of us, it has been a long time. Here's a quick tip here. Go for a walk by yourself. Leave the earbuds at home, but take your phone and go ahead and just take notes and think as you walk. Worst case, no thinking happens and you at least got in a 15 to 20 minute walk. But I promise you, if you commit to a 30-minute, maybe even an hour-long walk, something is going to come to mind. You're going to start taking notes, and once it starts to flow, all of a sudden you're going to realize, okay, these are the things making me unhappy. This is what I still want to achieve. These are some of my weaknesses. What's important to me? What are my core values? Am I living where I want to live? Am I living with the person I want to live with? Now, some of the answers here can get a bit uncomfortable, but don't worry, that's a normal part of self-evaluation. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Now, if you ever made dinner plans with a group of people and everyone says, I don't care. Now, the problem here is obvious. No one's giving you any direction, and you know that they actually do care. Because Brian, he doesn't like Mexican food. Mike lost his job recently. He is on a budget. And Elizabeth, she's a freaking vegetarian. Yeah, as Yogi Berra said it, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to wind up somewhere else. Now, what's funny about this is you actually had more direction in your life when you were 7. Yeah, because why? You had a dream. You had ambitions. You wanted to be a fighter pilot. You wanted to be a general. You wanted to be a firefighter. I know for me, I love telling people I want to be a paleontologist. And at the time, nobody knew what a paleontologist was. So that's why I like saying it. So where are you at now? You're a mid-level manager in a Fortune 500 company. And you may love it or you may not. But here's the thing. You haven't even asked yourself, where do I really want to be? You go down this path, you start climbing up a wall, and you forget to even ask the question, is this something I want to be doing? I know for me personally, in the last 2 years, creating a vision board has been life-changing. To have a physical board, which actually I can see it as we're filming this video right here. It's on the other side of the lights and the camera, but I can see what I'm working towards, what I want to achieve, what I want to accomplish. Because once you've got a vision, you can start to build a plan. Once you know where you're going, all of a sudden you can put together a SMART plan, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, time-bound. And by the way, if you're interested in building out your vision, becoming the man you know yourself to be, you should check out what we're doing over at Mission Fragrances. I talk about it more over at the website at missionfragrances.com, but I've designed these fragrances so that you can leverage scent conditioning to become the man you know yourself to be. And on top of that, they all smell amazing and they'll get you compliments. But seriously, gents, it's a passion project in which I teach you how to hijack your olfactory system so that on a daily basis, you can take steps towards your vision, towards becoming the man you know yourself to be. Again, if you're at all interested, I'm linking to it down in the description of today's video, or just go over to missionfragrances.com. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The wise man is the one who knows what he does not know. If you don't think that you can create a new you, or if you do think that you can create a new you are probably right. And I have found that to be true in my life. Whether or not you believe you can do something is the first step. You've got to have the idea of the growth mindset. Now, when I think of somebody with a growth mindset, I see somebody as embracing challenges. I see a person that learns from failure, and I see a person that embraces feedback to get better. A recent mindset shift that's helped me is starting my day off with something really hard. I put off running, and I stopped running actually for a while. I stopped exercising as much, and I realized, you know what? The thing is, as I keep pushing it off to later in the day, and often 50-50, actually it was even less than that. 25% of the time I was working out. And I'm like, I just got to start the day. Yes, I was enjoying starting to sleep in a bit more, catch up on sleep. I'm like, no, I got to get to bed earlier. I've got to be really clear with my family. Hey, I'm sorry guys, I got to sneak off. I can't stay and watch the movie. Yes, I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock at night because I want to be able to get up early and improve my body and be able to have that time alone when no one's screaming for me, the baby's not awake, and I can just go out and get in my 3 to 5 mile run. I'll tell you, when you do the hard stuff at the beginning of your day, it is a lot easier throughout the rest of the day. And you almost feel like you can coast because you accomplished what you needed to get done. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Now, a lot of people think I'm disciplined because of my time in the military. Now, personally, I don't think that's true. I think I'm able to maintain a sense of discipline because I've got systems and routines that keep me on that straight and narrow path. Gents, I'm telling you, that's the key, is to establish a routine. Let's say you want to go back to school, get your MBA, and you know you got to take the GMAT, but your undergrad grades were not that great. You know, to score a great GMAT, it's like pull-ups. You just got to put in the reps. Anyone that can do like 25, 30 pull-ups doesn't mean that they're super strong. It does mean, though, they're really good at pull-ups. They put in the reps, they practice. It's the same with a lot of these standardized tests. So establish a routine. 90 days before the test, every single day, you're putting in 30 minutes to an hour. Leaning more towards that hour as we get past the 45-day point, but you being consistent, putting in those reps is what's going to help you score higher on that exam, which you know is going to get you towards your goal of getting into the business school of your dreams. And right with that, let's talk about accountability. This is why when you hire a fitness coach, you are more likely to succeed. Why? Because you've got somebody showing up, waiting for you, you've paid money to them, and you are either going to show up or you're not, and you're going to have wasted that money. Now, if you're tight on funds, find a workout buddy, or getting back to the GMAT, find somebody else that's taking it that can hold you accountable. Better yet, a small group. So if one of those people fall out, not everyone's falling out. Maybe set a prize, or even an anti-goal. Maybe they're on the opposite side political party. Okay, I'll donate to your candidate, you donate to mine if any of us don't practice or don't show up. Yeah, donating to a cause that you don't support, man, I know that would motivate me. Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. So you've probably heard the saying, you become the average of the people you surround yourself with. Well, it turns out this old quote is 100% true, and it goes both ways. In fact, the study I was looking at the other day talked about how when people are overweight, if they're hanging out with other friends that are overweight, guess what? They all gain more weight because they view it as just the norm. And again, this is where the majority of the people are fit. You've got maybe a couple people that are overweight. Guess what? Those overweight people lost weight. Because when you're around people that are super active, you become a little bit more active. When you're around people that drink water and snack on carrots versus snacking on potato chips and drinking Pepsi, you start to follow suit. Naturally, the pounds start to fall off. And gents, this applies to so many other areas in your life. If you want to make more money, if you want to build wealth, you start to surround yourself, or at least you attend meetings in which other people present have the same goal, or maybe have even reached that goal. If you want your relationship to last, hang out with other people that have strong relationships. Yeah, sadly, they've shown people in relationships, when they hang out with single people, are more likely to become single in the future. It's not hard to make decisions when you know your values. Now, I know Roy isn't an ancient philosopher, but I really liked it, and it summarized what I had read in Stoicism, I've read in Confucianism, and it's that when you know what you stand for, it's really easy when you take a step back and reflect on the decisions that need to be made, it's really easy to make those decisions if you let your values be your guiding compass. Now, the obvious problem for a lot of guys is that they haven't reflected on their values for a long time. Maybe you got values instilled in you with a kid, the values of your family, which may not actually be yours. I know for me, growing up Catholic, there were certain values I still take to this day. Other ones I've kind of rejected because I just don't think they're right. At the end of the day, gents, you've got to make this decision yourself. This is your life. It's your path. You need to think through. You need to write them out. I know when I was in the Marine Corps, it was really easy to adopt the honor, courage, commitment. And so, I've got it right there with my fragrances. And every single day I can see my set right there, and it reminds me to live a life of honor, to live a life of courage, to stay committed to my goals of becoming the best man I can be. So take the time, gentlemen, to define what are your values. You can start with one. You can steal mine. You can steal somebody else's. These don't have to be original, but they should mean something to you. And I do think that you should define exactly what those terms mean. Because when you go through that exercise, it's more likely to stick up here and to stick in here. And understand as well that this isn't something you do once and you shelve it forever. No, I like to think on this. I like to reflect on it. I like to, revisit this again and again. And gents, I'm excited for you because once you have those values down, all of a sudden, like I said, the decision making becomes easy. Because if courage is truly a value and comfort is not, then yeah, you're sticking with that job. I get it. It's paying you really well. No, you wanted to go off and start your own business. You wanted to be an architect and have your own firm. You wanted to design more than just cookie cutter buildings. You wanted to go out there and make something that is going to be around and people will look at and be inspired by. Gents, I don't know your dreams. I don't know your vision, but whenever you've got that vision and when you look at your values and you start to find that alignment, all of a sudden you got an azimuth that will take you in the direction to achieve greatness, to achieve what you were put on this planet for. And now let's talk about taking action. So if any of you guys have read James Clear's book, really great, Atomic Habits, but he talks about the importance of 1% better every day. That's doable, right? Just 1% every single day. How much do you think over a year this is going to improve you? Well, if you were just to get better, that 1% every single day, it's not going to double, it's not going to triple. We're talking 37 times better at the end of the year. Now that's a lot. That's an exponential growth. How did that happen? Because of compound growth. You see, that 1% improvement at first doesn't seem like much, but as time goes on, as those improvements build upon the improvements, all of a sudden, within 6 months, within 9 months, you become unrecognizable, at least to your former self. And saying that, I'm inspired to share with you guys my latest coin. Check out the back of this one. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. Gents, believe me, you have the ability to create a new you. And if you're interested in getting one of these coins, you should join my community over at school. It's absolutely free. The guys in there are friggin' awesome and they're lifting each other up. And we do give away challenge coins over in that group. So check it out. I'm going to link to it down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, gents, check out this video right here. Continue the viewing experience. I try to create videos here at Real Men Real Style that help you become the man you know yourself to be. And I found my mission. I hope you go out there and find yours. All right, guys, see you later.